Welcome to my channel. Thanks for watching. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet this diaper cover for baby girls between 3 and 6 months old. Now, I made it to match the little dress and the little sweater that I showed you already. If you want to see these tutorials, just click the little lamb next to my channel name and it'll take you to my main channel page. Now, as I mentioned, this little set along with a diaper cover is for baby girls between 3 and 6 months old, but you can easily make it smaller or bigger from a newborn baby and up to 2 years old. Down here in the information box, I'm going to leave some information on how you can make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. Now, stay tuned. In another tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make the matching hat so that we can complete this little set. Also, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop in the information box as well. Okay, let's get started, but don't forget, all of my tutorials are always in English and in Spanish. Also, don't forget to subscribe, share my tutorials, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Okay, to make this diaper cover or baby bloomers, I'll be using this 5mm hook. This is an H hook, and today I'm using this Aran weight yarn. It's Stylecraft Special Aran in this color raspberry. Now here to begin, we're going to chain 6. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now into the second chain from the hook, I'm going to make a single crochet into the next chain, and so on. Here I'm going to finish with 5 single crochets. Okay, so I have my 5 single crochets. Now for the second row, turn, chain 1. Now to begin here, through the back loop of the first single crochet, make a single crochet, and into each one of the single crochets, make a single crochet, but always go through the back loop. And 5. Now turn for the third row, chain 1, and then repeat the same thing. Through the back loop, make a single crochet into each one of these single crochets. And this is all we're going to do from here on until we have a total of 56 rows. To make this any size for any age, the multiple here for the waistband is multiples of 4. Now continue, finish making these 56 rows, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making 56 rows. The waistband is done. Now this here is measuring about 35 centimeters, which is about 13.75 inches without stretching. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to join both sides. So we're going to go right here to this side through the first chain, grab this loop, bring it through the front, chain 1. Now insert your hook again through the first chain, and here in the back we have the first single crochet. Through the back loop, insert your hook and make a slip stitch. Insert your hook through the second chain and then through the second single crochet in the back and make a slip stitch. This is how I'm going to join both sides, so continue, finish this part, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished joining both sides, so now I'm going to make 1 row of single crochets all around the top. So we're going to go every second row. So basically into the rows that you see the little ridge here, that's where I'm going to make single crochets. So beginning here, we're going to chain 1. We're going to go into this next row right on top. We're going to make 2 single crochets. Skip this next row, and into this next row where you see the little ridge, make 2 single crochets. And that's all I'm going to do for this row right here. 2 single crochets. 2 single crochets on top of the next. Here you're basically skipping 1 row, and then into the next you're making 2 single crochets. Continue like this. At the end of this row you should have 56 single crochets. I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of this first row. I have 56 single crochets. Now to finish, go on top of the first single crochet and join with a slip stitch. Now for the second row, chain 3. Now into this same stitch here, make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Now skip 1, 2, 3 and into the fourth single crochet, make 4 double crochets. For this row we're going to make these shells, which consist of 4 double crochets. Again, skip 1, 2, 3 and into the fourth, make another shell. Continue like this for this second row. I will meet you at the end to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this second row. I have 14 shells. To finish this row, we're going to go out here where we have the third chain and join with a slip stitch. Now for the third row, turn. And here we have the first shell. We have 4 double crochets. Into the first double crochet, insert your hook like this and make a front post slip stitch. Now chain 3, a front post double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, and then 2 front post double crochets. Now we have the second shell, make 2 front post double crochets, chain 1, 2 front post double crochets. And that's all we're going to do for each one of the shells. 2 front post double crochets, chain 1, 2 front post double crochets. Continue to the end of this third row. I'll meet you there to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this third row. This is where we did front post double crochets. To finish, just go into the third chain here and join with a slip stitch. Now for the fourth row, chain 1 and turn, and into this space right here between the last shell and the first shell, make a single crochet. Chain 1, inside the chain 1 space of the first shell, make 4 double crochets or a shell. Now chain 1 in the middle of the 2 shells right here. Here's the second shell and here's the first right in the middle. Make a single crochet, chain 1, and inside the next shell into this chain 1 space, make another shell. So this is all we're going to do for this row. The important thing is for you to not forget to chain 1 after the shell and make a single crochet in the middle of the shells. And then chain 1 again, and then inside the next shell, make a shell. Continue like this for this fourth row. I will meet you at the end to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this fourth row. This is where we did shell stitches all around. Now to finish this row, I have 1 chain at the end. We're going to go here where we did the single crochet and join with a slip stitch. Now for the fifth row, turn, don't chain or anything, just turn. We have the first shell. We have 4 double crochets into the first double crochet here. Make a front post slip stitch. Now chain 3, front post double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, and then 2 front post double crochets. Again, we have the second shell, make 2 front post double crochets, chain 1, 2 front post double crochets. This is all we're going to do for this fifth row, so continue and I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of the fifth row. This is where I did front post double crochets. To finish this row, we're always going to go here where we have the third chain and join with a slip stitch. Now from here on, you're going to repeat these 2 rows, this last row that I just showed you and the row of shells. So to begin the 6th row here, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now immediately into this first space between the first and last shell, you're going to make a single crochet, then chain 1. Inside each one of the chain 1 spaces of each shell, you're going to make a shell. Four double crochets, chain 1 in the middle of the shells. Right here, make a single crochet, chain 1, and then again inside the next shell into the chain 1 space, make a shell. Chain 1 in the middle of the 2 shells, single crochet, chain 1, and then inside the next shell, a shell. And that's all we're going to do from here on. I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do. We're just going to repeat these 2 rows. Continue watching. I'll let you know exactly how many rows I'm going to do. So I will meet you at the end of that row. Okay, I did a total of 12 rows. From here up to here, there's 12 rows, and it's measuring. From the top of the waistband to the end of this last row, it's measuring about 35 centimeters, which is about 13.75 inches. Now, my last row that I did is the row of front post double crochets. Now, we're going to start to reduce the back side. So here I have placed a stitch marker to mark the front of this diaper cover. And on each side, I have 2 stitch markers, and these stitch markers are marking the center. So I have 7 shells for the front and 7 shells for the back side. This here is going to be the back side from now on. Now, this is where we were joining at the end of every row, so now it's going to be to the side. Now, we're going to start the first row. In this first row, we're going to start to reduce to shape the back side, just like this here. We're going to, we're right here right now, so we're going to start reducing here. So here, to start the first row, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now, inside this first shell here, make 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Now, chain 1. In the middle of these 2 shells, make a single crochet, chain 1. And inside the next shell, this chain 1 space here, make a normal shell. Here at the beginning, these 2 double crochets counts as half of a shell. Since each shell has 4 double crochets, I only did 2 there. Now, chain 1. In the middle of the 2 shells, make a single crochet, chain 1, and then inside the next shell, make a shell. This is how you're going to continue. This part here is the same thing we did here whenever we did this row of shells, and we're going to do this until we come to the last shell. I will meet you here at the end to show you how we're going to finish this first row of reduction. I'm here at the end of this first row of reduction. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 complete shells, and then I have half of a shell here, so I'm going to finish with half of a shell into this last chain 1 space. So I did my last single crochet, chain 1, and into this shell here, make 2 double crochets, chain 1, and then in the middle of these 2 shells right here where I have the stitch marker, make a single crochet. And here's the first row. I have 2 half shells and then 5 complete shells. Now for the second row of reduction, chain 1 and turn. Now here, what I'm going to do is I have these last 2 double crochets that I did. I'm going to make a front post double crochet into the second double crochet, not the first one, but the second. Make a front post double crochet, and then we have the first shell here. Into the first 2 double crochets, make 2 front post double crochets, chain 1, 2 front post double crochets. Same thing for the next shell, and you're going to continue like this here to the end of this second row. I will meet you here to show you how we're going to finish the second row. I'm here at the end of this second row. Now to finish, here we have these last 2 double crochets. Into the first double crochet, work a front post double crochet, and into the second one, make a single crochet. Now for the third row of reduction, chain 1 and turn. Immediately into this space here, I'm going to make a single crochet, chain 1. Inside this first chain 1 space here, make 2 double crochets, chain 1. In the middle of these 2 shells, make a single crochet, chain 1, and then inside each one of these shells, make a shell. Chain 1. In the middle of the 2 shells, make a single crochet, chain 1, and into the next a shell. So that's all we're going to do. So shell, single, and then here we're going to finish with 2 double crochets. I'll meet you at the end of this third row reduction. I'm here at the end of this third row reduction. I have 3 complete shells plus half of a shell here at the beginning. Now to finish here, make 2 double crochets. Now chain 1, and in the middle here, between this last shell and these 2 double crochets here, make a single crochet. And this is how I finished the 3rd row. Now for the 4th row reduction, chain 1 and turn. Now to begin this row, I'm going to work a front post double crochet into the 2nd double crochet of these 2 that we have here. And then we have the first shell, make 2 front post double crochets, chain 1, 2 front post double crochets. Now we have the 2nd shell and do the same thing, 2 front post double crochets, chain 1, 2 front post double crochets, and then do the same thing into this 3rd one. I will meet you at the end of this 4th row reduction to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this 4th row reduction. Now here to finish into this first double crochet here, make a front post double crochet, and then into the 2nd one here right on top, make a single crochet. And this is how I finish the 4th row. Now for the 5th row, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now in this 5th row, into this first space right here, I'm going to make a single crochet. Then I'm going to chain 1, and inside this first shell here, I'm going to make 2 double crochets. Chain 1. In the middle of these 2 shells, make a single crochet, chain 1, and then a shell here inside this next shell. Chain 1, and then here in the middle, make a single crochet, chain 1, and then here at the end, I'm going to finish with 2 double crochets. Now chain 1, and in the middle here, after this shell right there into that space, make a single crochet. So here is the 5th row, and as you can see, I only have 1 complete shell here in the middle, and then these 2 are half shells. Now for the 6th row, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now for this 6th row, from here on, we're not going to reduce anything. So what I'm going to do here is on top of this first double crochet, make a double crochet, into the 2nd one, make a front post double crochet. Then we have the shell here in the center, make 2 front post double crochets, chain 1, 2 front post double crochets. Now we have the last 2 double crochets. Into the first double crochet, make a front post double crochet, and on top of the 2nd one, make a double crochet. Now to finish, we're going to go here where we have this chain space and make a single crochet, and this is how I finish this 6th row. Now for the 7th row, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now in this row, what I'm going to do is on top of these 2 double crochets, I'm going to make a double crochet. Now chain 1, and in the middle here of the shell and these 2 double crochets, make a single crochet, chain 1, inside the chain 1 space, make a shell, chain 1 in the middle here of the shell and the 2 double crochets, make a single crochet, chain 1, and then finish with 2 double crochets here at the end. And this is how I finished the 7th row. Now for the 8th row, chain 1 and turn. Now on top of the first double crochet, make a double crochet. Into the 2nd one, make a front post double crochet, and then into these 2 double crochets, make a front post double crochet, chain 1, and then 2 front post double crochets. Then we have the last 2 double crochets. Into the first double crochet, make a front post double crochet, then finish with a double crochet on top. As you can see, we're not reducing anything, we're just going to continue here. So we're going to do this for 2 more rows. Now chain 1 for row 9. On top of this first double crochet, make a double crochet. On top of the next one, make a double crochet, chain 1 in the middle here between the shell and the 2 double crochets, make a single crochet, chain 1, inside this chain 1 space, make a shell, chain 1, and then single crochet in the middle, chain 1, and then finish with 2 double crochets. Here's the 9th row. Now for row 10, chain 1, turn. On top of the first double crochet, make a double crochet. Into the second one, make a front post double crochet, and then here make 2 front post double crochets, chain 1, 2 front post double crochets. Here we have the last 2 double crochets. Make 1 front post double crochet and then a double crochet on top. And here's the 10th row. Now I think I'm going to do 2 more rows. I'm going to repeat 2 more rows here so that this part here is a bit wider. If you want to leave it like this, if you're making it for a smaller baby, just make sure that this opening here is big enough for the baby's legs. So we're going to repeat 2 more rows here. So here for row 11, chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of the first double crochet, make a double crochet. On top of the next, make a double crochet, chain 1 in the middle. Here are these 2. Make a single crochet, chain 1, and inside the chain 1 space, make a shell. Chain 1, and then in the middle here of the shell and the 2 double crochet, single crochet, chain 1, and then finish with 2 double crochets here. Now for row 12, chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of the first double crochet, make a double crochet, then a front post double crochet. We have the shell here. Make 2 front post double crochets, chain 1, 2 front post double crochets, and here at the end into the first double crochet, front post double crochet, and on top of the last double crochet, a double crochet. And I think this part here is done. We have 12 rows here. Perfect. I think that looks pretty good. Here we're just going to cut our yarn, leave a nice little tail here because we're going to close this or join both sides, and then we're going to continue and do the legs. Okay, so now that we finished making this part here at the end, I just cut my yarn and passed my yarn through this last loop. I made sure to leave a nice tail here because we're going to join both sides. So to do this, make sure that you put a stitch marker here. We're going to mark 8 stitches. These are the 8 center stitches. I have 2, and then we have 4, and then we have 2. So that's 4, 6, 8 stitches. Now we're going to turn this over on the wrong side. We're going to use a needle here. Now there's no right or wrong way of doing this. Just make sure that it's center and that it looks nice here, this finish. Now make sure that each one of the stitches corresponds. So for me here, here's my last double crochet here. So I'm going to go through this first double crochet after the stitch marker. See right there. I'm going to reinforce this first stitch here to make sure that it doesn't open. So I'm just going to go in again like this and tie a knot. Now we're going to go stitch by stitch. So here's my next stitch, and here in the back find the second stitch, insert your needle through there, and then go through the back through the next stitch, find the next stitch here in the front. This here is the front shell or the middle shell, and then through the next double crochet. If you want to go through the center here, you can. This is where we did the chain, and then through the next double crochet, again through the center. Now there's no right or wrong way of doing this, I repeat. Here's the last stitch. Now here at the end, just reinforce that last stitch, and then we can go back and reinforce this part even further. Tie a knot, make sure that it's fine, and we're done. I'm gonna make a knot here. Perfect. Cut our yarn, turn this over. Let's see how it looks. I think that looks pretty good. That's what it looks like. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this leg first so that I know exactly how many stitches I'm going to do, and then I'll come back and show you how to do this side. It's going to be done exactly in the same way. So I'll come back and show you that next. Okay, so now that we joined here, I went ahead and did this leg here so that I can tell you how I did it and how many stitches you need to have. So the first thing that we need to do here is we need to make single crochets all around, and we need to do a total of 30 single crochets. Here on this side I did 30 single crochets, and then I went ahead and did this here, which is the same way how we did it here at the top. So the first thing that we need to do is 1 row single crochets, and I'm going to do this with this 4.5mm hook. If you're using any other hook size to make this smaller or bigger, just go down half a hook size. So here to begin, just pick a spot here somewhere. I started here, so I'm going to start here as well. I'm going to grab a loop here, bring it through the front, chain 1. Now there is no right or wrong way of doing this. I can't tell you exactly where you need to insert your hook and make your single crochets. The important thing here is that you end with an even number of single crochets. So if you finish with 32, 34, it's okay. So the important thing is that we finish with an even number of single crochets. Now we're going to start right here. Just pick a spot. I'm going to make a single crochet here to begin, and then into this next row. Let's see, I'm going to jump here to this row. This is a double crochet. Yes, I think so. Make 2 single crochets. Then we have this chain space, and then again a double crochet, make 2, and make sure you count your single crochets. That way you know I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm going to continue along here making single crochets, 7, and then 8, 9, and then I have this part here. This is the first double crochet. That's 10, and then 11, whoops, 12, and so on. For this part, it's easy because you have double crochets, and then into the chain 1 space you can also make a single crochet, and then you're going to continue along the back side. Continue, make these single crochets. Again, there is no right or wrong way of doing this. The important thing is that you finish with 30, 32, 34 single crochets. Continue, and I'll meet you once this row here is done to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making 30 single crochets all around the legs. Now, one thing I forgot to mention before we started this is that you don't necessarily have to use a smaller hook. I went ahead and used a smaller hook so that this opening here is not too big, but that would be up to you. Make sure that you try this on your little girl and make sure that it fits perfectly. And if you feel that this part here is too tight around the legs, then go ahead and use the 5mm hook or a slightly bigger hook. So here I have my 30 single crochets, join here to the beginning with a slip stitch, and now we're going to do this part here. Now for this part I'm going to chain 4, and into the second chain from the hook I'm going to make a single crochet into the next chain, and a single crochet into the last. Here I have 3 single crochets. If you want to make this part slightly bigger, then add more chains. So now we're going to continue into the next 2 single crochets, make a slip stitch. Now turn, make sure that you turn this way with the yarn behind the hook, and through the back loop of the first single crochet back here, right here, make a single crochet into the second, and a single crochet into the third, but make sure that you go through the back loop. Now turn like this to work our way down, chain 1, and through the back loop again of these 3 single crochets, make a single crochet like this. And now we have the next 2 single crochets, make a slip stitch on each one. Now turn with the yarn behind the hook, find the back loop of the first single crochet and make a single crochet through the back loop. Turn, chain 1, and work your way down, making single crochets. 3 single crochets. Now into the next 2 single crochets here, make a slip stitch. Oops. And then again, turn, and with the yarn behind, find the first single crochet and through the back loop make a single crochet. This is all I'm going to do all around until I come to the beginning here. Continue and I'll meet you at the end to show you how we're going to join both sides and then show you the finished little diaper cover. Okay, I finished making the last row. Here at the end, I did my last row here and I was at the top. Then I cut my yarn and I just joined to the first row with a slip stitch and then passed my yarn through that last loop. And as you can see, there's a little gap here. So what you can do is with this remaining yarn, you can just do a couple stitches there to close it. And the leg is all done. Now you're going to do exactly the same thing we did here on this side. You're going to do it here on this side, which is exactly what I did. So this diaper cover is all done. That's what it looks like. It's absolutely adorable and I think it was easy to do. So we're almost done with this set. I already showed you the little cardigan coat and then the little dress. If you want to see these tutorials, just click the little lamb down here next to my channel name and it'll take you to my main channel. You'll see the tutorials there. Now here around the waist, what I did is I just did a long chain. This is about 120 chains and that's all I did. It's all done. It's absolutely beautiful. So this was today's tutorial. Stay tuned for the hat. I'll go ahead and show you that next. So until next time, thanks for watching.